Hello, 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 and welcome. Welcome to each and every one of you. If you are joining me, I'm going to give you about 10 seconds to join me. But welcome to the Move Collective, the Move Roundtable. I know it's been a minute. We've been gone. We haven't been doing these. We were doing them monthly. I took a little break because we needed time to regroup, resettle, and then so many other things were coming into focus that we absolutely did not have a chance to come back with you, but we are back. And I'm super excited about today. So I'm going to give you a few seconds for people to join. If you're joining, make sure that you're sharing this live. If you are going to watch the replay, share, comment, give us your thoughts. I can't wait to hear and see each and every one of you. And I'm super excited about who I have with me on today. So I'm going to give you a few 10, to go ahead and begin to share it. 9. I hope that you're going to have super fun with this. 8. This is going to be absolutely the time of your life. 7. I don't know what else to say, but this person is going to be amazing tonight. And I can't wait to hear what she has to share with us. 6. 5. Are you sharing this live? 4. 3. Welcome back to the Move Roundtable. My name is Janay, and I am the founder of the Move Collective. If you don't know who we are, we'll get into all of that later. But I just want to ask you, if you ever ended a week completely exhausted and you still wondered why stuff still mattered to you, you're working after hours, the next hour is still mattering. And I want you to come into the room because tonight we're going to talk about what it means for pressure or purpose over pressure. Welcome to the Move Conversations Live. We bring together leaders, change makers, and visionaries who are helping us rethink leadership, culture, and community. My name again is Janay Douglas, and I am with the Move Collective. And here at TMC, we believe that leadership starts with alignment. We believe that it's no hustle, no perfection, it's alignment. Today's conversation is about purpose over pressure, and I could not have picked a better person, I believe, to have that conversation with. My guest has spent her career helping people discover their purpose, communicate them with themselves with confidence, and lead with real impact. Now, before I bring her on, I want you to make sure that you have shared this live because you do not want to miss anything that she's going to share with us tonight. And as you're watching, I want you to comment and share with me any nuggets that you hear that she's said tonight. And we're going to blow up the comments on tonight. So before I go any further, I'm giving you again a few seconds to go ahead and jump in this room with me so that we can get this conversation started tonight. All right. But I do want to welcome none other than the beautiful herself, Miss Maria Friday. Hi.
Hello, hello,
How are
hello.
you? I'm
I am well. How are you?
excited to have you here today. And I don't know what to do, but I know and I can already feel it that you're going to come with some good nuggets for tonight. And I was just sharing with the people that we used to do these monthlies beginning of January. I was hosting these every month, once a month. I would bring someone to this stage and we would talk. And, I had to take a little break. First quarter was a good run. We did pretty good. We had some good people joining with us. And then I come back in this time and I think I'm starting back with the hitter. I really feel like we're coming in, we're back, rounding the bases tonight. And so I'm super excited to share this stage with you, and I cannot wait to hear what you have to share with us on today. Now, I want to get you out of giving your bio mode because as we go through today, people will get to know you, understand you, and know who the true essence of you and who you really are. Are you ready for that?
I am ready. Let's go.
Absolutely amazing. Okay, so Maria, before the titles, the platforms, I want to start with one moment. Take us back to the time you realized you were leading people, whether you had a title or you did not have a title. Where were you and what was happening?
Oh, wow. Let's see. I would say I was at work, and I was always the one that people sent to train others.
Mm,
So that's when I learned that my communication skills must be effective.
okay.
And so even I think I was at a call center, and I was at that call center for about 2 months, taking calls, and I was approached to become a trainer, just off
Mm.
of, I guess, the calls, and how I handled it, but it was how I was able to assist others, and I started being a trainer.
Okay, so that training led you into this place now that you love to teach people the confidence to walk in who they are. Do you have a specific instance during that duration that you can think of that highlighted that, hey, this is little bit more than me becoming a trainer. This is actually something that I may be gifted in, or this is my knack. Like, was there ever at one moment?
Absolutely. I think once I started training and saw that it was, I didn't have to have a lot of training to train. And so once I started that, people were coming to me actually asking to leave other trainers. And just the way I was able to communicate and break it down, I am very much not, I can be very black and white, but I absolutely believe in training others to become a leader. So that is why I've always been that go-to person. People felt safe with me. Even if they didn't know something, they felt safe enough to come to me and knowing that I would support them. So
Okay, awesome. So I want to switch to gear just a little bit. So we talked about, you being pulled from a place. You spent a couple of months at your job, and then they saw some potential in you. But was there ever a season where you felt like you were doing everything right on paper, but still kind of felt out of alignment? And what did that feel like for you? And did it cost you anything?
oh, that's so good. I love that question. So yes, I was. Now, this conversation I'm having about the call center was about 16 years ago. So this was a very long time ago. And then about 5 years ago, I went back to call center, answering phone
Oh,
calls, and it was did not go well. It did not
what?
go well because that I was out of alignment. I believe one year I took 5,000 calls. I was the highest person taking calls. I got great reviews, but I could not get promoted. And the
Wow.
reason was because I found that they saw me in that space and I was so good, they did not want to lose me there. So everyone who was
Mm.
hired after me, I trained them. But because I was such a great resource on the phones, I applied for roles that I knew I should have gotten, and I did not. So
Well, that's something that speaks volumes, because when I asked you the question of what it cost you, a lot of the roles that you knew you were very much so in line with and aligned with, they only saw you for the capacity in which they felt you were good for. That's kind of deep, and we're gonna come back to that. I love that. A lot of people use the word purpose like it's a destination you eventually arrive at. How did you actually find yours? And what is a lightning bolt, or what was the thing that just aha this moment or slow revealed this moment to you?
So I am currently a project manager by trade, a consultant, and so I did not even know that project what project management was, but I knew that I was the person who put things together. I have been called the glue. I've been called the fire extinguisher. So I knew that I knew how to drive results, but I didn't have a word or a title for it. It wasn't
Okay.
until during COVID, I was laid off because of, everyone was at home. And at that time, I was like, let me try to take some classes. Actually, a friend told me about project management. I took the class and I was like, it was so, I don't want to say easy. It was like nature to me. It was human nature. And so I took the class and then I took the test and I passed, but I didn't realize that this was going to be my purpose. And I
Mm.
only realized it because it came so second nature.
So second nature. So we oftentimes we overlook the things that we're gifted in because we're so used to doing what we've become good at.
Yes.
And you sat there, you was like, I didn't even know I had this passion. To a friend told me to go to class. It wasn't even on my radar. But how is that like what we do in a natural sense every day as people who are finding their purpose, coming into a place of understanding who they are and how they operate? We so often look over the very things that teach us or tell us who we are and what we should be doing because, well, like, we're money people first. And I was just having a conversation when I was a couple of episodes ago where I was watching a comedian speak about his life. I think it was Bruce to be exact.
Okay.
And he talked about in his set of telling his employer that he was going to go try and be a comedian.
Yes.
And they laughed at him and told him he would be back in so many words. And then he told his mom, and she said, okay, but a job is going to be there if you come back.
Yeah.
And I think we've become so rote into working
Yeah.
that we miss finding what purpose really is and how we operate in purpose. Like you said, you became what you start to do in a natural sense,
Yeah.
became what you were really good at. But maybe you never really considered that that could be something that's going to be your gifting, or maybe somewhere in the line you thought that everybody was making you getting it this easy,
Yes, I
But
did.
in realistic, you had something that they singled you out for to come and consistently do that not others in the company can do. I think speaks a lot to purpose that has been really pushing you since 16 years ago.
Yes, and it wasn't until this conversation I really put two and two together, but it was, and you're absolutely right. It you overlook it because you're like it's nothing. But I know it was like, I'm nice to everyone, and I was able to connect with people, and I know that that is what leadership is. You cannot be a great leader and you're mean. You don't like people. I've seen those. Okay.
Yeah.
I know that they're there. But
Yes.
to be an effective leader, I believe the people aspect has to come first.
That's so good. I love it. So that kind of takes me to my next point, my next question. What is something you had to unlearn to become the leader that you are now?
I had to unlearn that I have to have all the answers.
Ooh.
I used to would never even apply for leadership roles because I wanted to check every box on that job description. And if there was one off, I was like, oh, can't do that.
What?
Yeah, but I've learned being in leadership, nobody has all the answers.
Okay, okay.
And
That
so
is true.
it's all about being able to first say, I might not have the answer, but I can get it. And I didn't even realize that I was me being able to communicate that to CEOs or CFOs. I was able to communicate it in such a way that they trusted, like, okay, Maria, you don't have it, but I know you're going to figure it out. And
Yeah,
that is what gave me the confidence I don't have to have it all together. That's what helped me.
yes. And that's good because that, not to jump ahead of the horse here, put my cart before my horse, as the old folks say, but that's why the move was born.
Yeah.
We so often think that we have to have X, Y, Z. I was just talking today about perfectionism. We want our lives to be so perfect
Mm. Yeah.
that we are so hard on ourselves in this area of perfectionism when we realistically don't have to be.
Yeah.
We just need to show up in the authenticity of who we are and operate in the ability that we've been given to operate in. You can to me, it's like apparent. You can tell a natural born leader from someone who may not be as natural born, and but they have the desire. And I think that also equally goes a long way. I want to lead, and I feel like I have the capacity because that's
Right.
another thing. When you think about your story and how you came into this place and how people singled you out because you were doing this good, and then you realize that maybe I like to manage things a little better than I thought I did, and then you go back to school and get that certificate to do so. Realistically, that was just the experience you needed to become who you are in purpose. But I feel like the challenge area, we'll talk about that, purpose over pressure, is that we often get stuck in what's comfortable and we never move from that place. So
Absolutely.
what if 16 years you were still sitting in the same seat doing the same thing? Where would all the other people be that you coach and you speak to and you grow on a daily basis? Like, where would they be right now if it wasn't for you making a decision to say, hey, there's something more to this? How did you finally decide that I have something to give to people and I need to come on and give it to them?
So it was by force and not choice. So I bet on myself. I did go through a divorce, and it was that divorce that really I stepped out on faith, and I was like, you know what? I can do this. I can do this. And stepping out on faith was um it was betting on myself and God, but that was the what I needed um to prove to myself that God got me and I'm going to be okay. So that was kind of my stepping stone.
I love it. I love it. And so I talk to leaders every day, every week who are running hard and running on empty. From where you sit, what's actually driving that exhaustion?
Mm.
And I don't think it's just the workload. What would you say? What have you seen to be common denominators in that area?
Oh, wow. It's absolutely, people are losing the human element. Due to AI, people think that, and people in leadership think that people are machines
Mhm.
and they treat them as such. I have been in situations and I've had people who've come to me like, I can't do this. It's too much. And I feel like just being able to see from the outside looking in and from the inside looking out that we are um, forgetting that people get sick and kids get sick and things happen, life happens. But because there's this AI element, it allows CEOs and people in in the hiring managers to believe that either they can find someone else to do it or they can get a machine to do it. And that is so far from the truth because you need that human connection. You need to make
Mhm.
sure that it's right, and that is I love AI, I do, but I believe that it can never replace the human element.
And I think that is such a pivotal conversation. The human part of us as leaders and company driven people, getting to know how it is to actually treat and deal with the people that you work with currently on a daily basis and not make them feel like they are not valued in this space. And that is very key. I love that. Yes, I love that because that when I think back to why we created the move, it's that level of alignment.
Yeah.
It's that you're leading, but then you have people, and then that middle gap is your people don't know what you're doing to lead, and you really don't know how to lead because you don't know who the people you're dealing with.
Yes.
And so, how could we bridge that gap to fill those voids of your workplace needs to shift? We're coming, and I also feel like we're coming into a age where the generations behind us, if
Yes.
you don't value them, they don't stay.
They do
And I
not.
don't care how much AI you can put in the seat,
Yes.
they are not here for it. They
Mm.
are looking for places that's going to one nurture what they have, but value what they have at the same time. And so I thank you for saying that we're losing that human nature. So can you walk me through a real moment when the pressure was winning and you knew that the pressure was on for you? What did you do in that season? And I know that you talked about that even after divorce, you found yourself having to bet on yourself. What was something that you did practically in those seasons to get you back into alignment? Give us what that afternoon version of that time would look like. If you're just sitting and having coffee with me and you're telling me, Janay, girl, this is what I had to do. What did that look like for you?
Oh, wow. It looked like prayer for me. I went before
Mhm.
God and like, listen, you see what situation I'm in. I stepped out on faith like you asked me to. I'm here now. You're gonna have to cover all of this. And I wrote down a number. I said, God, I need to make this. And the job that I
Mm.
got hired gave me the exact number to the penny. And that was
Mm.
my, you know what? Oh, when I ask for something, if it's in alignment, God gonna give it to me. I mean, they didn't flinch, Janae. And so when I say I had never made six figures in my life, so for me to even ask for that, write it down, and then get it, I was like, wait a minute. Y'all don't know that I had only made $60,000. That's the most I made in my life. Now y'all not just giving me 100, you giving me more than that. It was at that time that I realized, oh, I got some. Oh, it's me. It's me.
Mm.
Nobody can take that from me because I know that yes, I have a bachelor's degree, I have a master's degree, I have a certificate, but none of those, I wouldn't say none, all of those things would be nothing without the Maria factor. And so I had to realize that yes, Maria, you have all of those things, you did the work, but that in itself is not enough. You have to bring Maria because that is what is causing people to want you. Even when I was consulting, I've gotten just recently called back to a consultant job by name. And so that never happens. But I know that it was because of the human element that everybody is like, oh my God, welcome back, Maria. Oh my God. And I'm just like, this is interesting. I didn't do a whole bunch, but I know what it was. I was kind to people. I was open. Like even though I want to make sure your deliverables are on time, we're not going to be late, but I'm going to ask you, how are your kids? Oh, what is your mom? Oh my God. Is there anything I can do? What's your address? Let me send you some flowers. Yeah, I think that is what, not think, I know that is what has gotten me to continue on this leadership journey.
And you said a mouthful. I just had my 1 hour intensive last week, right? And it was in leadership and workplace culture. The one thing that we touch on in our intensive is that part of just checking in on your people, knowing who you're working with. You said it's stuff like, how's your mom? How's the family? Do I need to send you? But what's going on in your world? That simple gesture
Simple.
goes multitudes of people because now I feel like, oh my gosh, she sees me.
She sees me. And that is what I learned.
Me.
Oh my gosh, Janay. That is what I started owning. I thought it was so minuscule that I never even mentioned it. But my superpower is that I have the innate ability to make anybody feel seen, whether it's a child, an old person, a person, and my age, a disabled person. I have the ability to make anybody feel seen, and that is a gift. And that I had to learn that and own that because I thought everybody did it.
No, most leaders come into leadership because they have been with the company for 30, 40, 50, 60 years. They spent a quantum amount of time with this company. And now I was just having a conversation with a leader the other day. I said, one thing with your company you need to do is decipher leaders from SMEs. Because those
Yes,
are two very different things.
absolutely.
I may be great at understanding the logistics of this job, but when it comes to growing, cultivating, and nurturing your people, that's an asset that I may not have. And if I don't have it, and I said to him, if they don't have it, then that's your duty as the owner, founder, and leader of the company to invest in things where they can become more acceptable to be able to understand what it means to lead. When I come to a leader, my first question to them is, what kind of leader are you?
Right. I'm a servant leader. Always.
If you cannot begin to tell me how you lead, how are you leading?
Yes.
And dictating and giving orders is not leadership.
It's
On
not.
a given day in my job, I say it's the South in me because I'm in the Midwest right now, but I say it's the South in me. But in my mind somewhere, the notion of growing up, and when you walk into a room and you're just entering that room and
Yeah,
everybody's already in the room, and the first thing my grandmother would say is, "I didn't sleep with you last night."
exactly.
Because the kindness is just to literally enter the room and acknowledge that there's people there is a gesture, even in leadership. And
Absolutely.
most people don't have coming into a place and making your presence known and also acknowledging those who are already in the place. It's
Yeah.
simple too. And then once you say, well, I can ask, how are the kids?
Yeah.
Some people are so thrown off now when I say, well, the kids, what did they build this week? Oh, you
Yeah.
remember? You
Yeah.
remember?
Yeah.
Yes, because those are the things that are pertinent to who you are.
Yes.
Thus fuels you to do more in everything else. So I feel that.
I wanted to, you brought up something that I wanted to bring up. You said that leaders are usually ones that work here 20, 30, 40 years. Um, it- but you know what that does? It creates that performative nature where people have to, they literally feel like their value is tied to how many years that they've been in a job.
Ooh, oh my
I
God.
do not stay at a job. I, I don't stay in a job long because I realized I did it before, and that's the same company that kept me at that position because that's all they saw me. So I realized that people, and that's why I do coaching with women because I know that if you stay at a company for so long, you will begin to associate your confidence with your value, and you will feel as if you're not eligible to become a leader, which is why I'm almost always tell my clients to leave that company because if you've been in there for 5, 6, 10 years and you still in the same position, that's where they see you. They will not give you another role. They will not because you have in their mind, you're making them money right where you are. So that's the only thing I wanted to bring up. Like the confident when people stay there for so long, it just makes them feel like I have to prove, like, oh, I've been there 20 years. Now they're gonna let me be a manager. You could have been a manager 18 years ago.
Yes,
Somewhere
yes.
else.
that proving, so I literally just saw that on LinkedIn the other day, and it was talking about BIPOC women in leadership positions, and it says, when are we ever going to move from the place that we feel like we still have to prove that we belong in a space? But we're so afraid.
Yeah.
Like you said it earlier, if God made it for you, wrote a figure down.
Yes.
And in that number, because you've said some nuggets that I want to reiterate for sure. You wrote a figure down, and in that figure, you said, "This is what I need." And you see now, like you said, unapologetically, that I haven't seen six figures in my life, but I said a number, that number was given. So, I can ask for what I want and who I really am. And I think the challenge for us as women, Black women especially, and women in leadership, is that we're never here to challenge the number. If they said this is what you got to make, this is what you feel like, oh, well, they obviously know because they own the company, or because I want this position so bad, I'm willing to settle. No, when you are confident and you know your worth, you're not just an asset, but you know for sure that you are a liability to this company, then you can challenge at any moment. No, I deserve a little bit more because this is what I bring to the table. This is who I am. This is how I operate. This is what I've been able to shift since I've been here. And we are too afraid to I know that my old manager say, girl, sell yourself. You have to sell yourself.
Yeah.
And especially as women in our industry and in the things that we're doing and the people we're connecting with, it is like the best part of us to not just see ourselves as just the bottom line. And I think so often, like you said, well, I don't check all the boxes, so I'm not gonna go for this. But I feel like sometimes there are places where even if you want to say a guy thing, he will create positions just for you. But if you don't step out to have those conversations and to begin to do the work and move first, it's not gonna happen for you. I love that. And even like you said, the SME thing, I'm a firm believer that every person who's in leadership should not be in leadership if you truly don't understand how to lead. But also because just because you're good at it,
Yes.
doesn't make you a leader. How your track record, and I push this to any company, and if you work with me, this is definitely accountability portion to yourself. How have you grown people in the last 5 years? What growth have you seen in your people
Yes.
in the last 5 years? That is my challenge to any person in a leadership position, in a leadership role. Have you seen a matriculation of growth, or are you suffering at the point of retention? You're trying to retain all those that you do have because they're seeing that their worth is just a little bit more. That's a challenge, nigga. We're gonna come back and talk about that.
Yes.
But while we're talking about that, is there anything you've had to say no to recently that looked like a great opportunity, but it just wasn't yours to take?
Absolutely. I've been saying no to a lot. I'm telling you. So another reason, and I was recently diagnosed with breast cancer and just overcame that. And so because of that, yes, honey, yes, we're gonna take our time. Yes, and I did. But because of that, my no has increased. Okay. I even have walked away from a six-figure job since that time because you're not you're not gonna overwhelm me. Like I know my capacity, and if I say I can't do this and you keep piling it on, I'm gonna go somewhere else. And guess what happened when I did that?
They called you back.
The same day. I put my notice in. I put my notice in by noon, and by 3 o'clock, yes. And so that in itself taught me, because what I could have done, and in the past I would have, is just kept taking it, kept taking it, kept taking it, going to the hospital because my blood pressure through the roof, just kept taking it. Oh no, ma'am. No, no. Breast cancer has taught me that when my body say we're tired, we're tired. Whenever I get off, I'm off. And I had to, unfortunately, my health had to decline to get me there, but I'm there now. And I realized even in my, I won't say limited capacity, but learning my capacity, they still are wanting me to work, So that's what helped me, with not having imposter syndrome, because that's what I was worried about.
Ooh.
But now I see I got the sauce. I do.
Okay, yes. And we're not going to blow over, guys. Did you just hear her say overcame breast cancer? Look at her. She's beautiful. And she's a boss. and she's running it, and she's defined in who she is.
Oh, that's so
Super excited for you, Maria, about that. I
thank
love
you
it.
so much.
I love it. So, what was some of the warning signs? We just kind of talked about it a little bit. Like you said, you unfortunately, you did get sick to kind of also start to realize something. But what is a warning sign to you that you're drifting toward burnout? And what do you do when you see yourself in that direction?
Um, Whenever I don't stick to my boundaries. So,
Mm,
salaried, you don't necessarily have the whole 9 to 5. However, if I have a schedule that was discussed previously, um, there's not going to be a consistent after 5 meeting. Unless, of course, it's an implementation or, we have something that is short lived and we're focusing on that. But a consistent after 5 on the weekend, on my no lunch, eating through lunch. No, I'm not. Um, because I know what doing that got me. It got me
mm,
sick, it got me overwhelmed, burnout, extra blood pressure medicines. No, no, no. And that's how I knew I was out of alignment because anytime you have to work too hard or over extend yourself, that's a sign that, wait a minute, you need to regroup and reset.
mm. And that's so true. Like alignment starts inside the person. And if you don't do the work, like we were just talking about earlier before we went on, transparency is key with you. If you're not transparent with yourself to be honest about where you are, what you
Yes,
can and cannot do, what's beneficial for you, you'll find yourself in the same place. But leaders also have to know that they can't lead in a vacuum. They have to lead cultures. So
yes,
you have to get inside of your workplace, spend some time with them,
yes,
spend some time with your people to realize not everybody, and I think that's also the misconception. We have these companies, we grow these businesses, everybody has to be on the same playing field. But what if that's not my capacity?
you're right.
What if I can't carry as much as John or as much as Judy? Or what if I can't carry as much as a Maria, but
Yes,
Maria also equally can't carry as much as me?
yes,
Who's there navigating this space
right.
where I see now leaders are just you do what I say, and you do what I say.
Yeah,
And I was even talking about in my intensive how missing that place to come together with your workforce also lets you know who you are as a person.
right.
Because do you have the door open policy, as we so often talk about, where
Yeah,
people could come in and share? But we've gotten to a point that leaders are leading from their traumas,
yes,
their own brokenness, their
yes,
own dismays,
yes,
that you're catty when people come talk to you. So their business is all over the office. And now
absolutely.
I really don't trust you as a leader because you've shown me that even in my burnout stages,
Yes,
I can't really effectively come to you and tell you that I'm not functioning right because you might use that against me. So
absolutely.
it's so, the human, it goes all the way back to this human element of who we are to be as leaders that we're missing.
Yes,
And I just love how you brought that point in to say that I don't care what AI does or how we're moving in AI. Yes, AI can be an amazing tool, an
yes,
amazing gesture, but not knowing your people.
right.
When I came into management and leadership, I was probably in my 20s. So this is well 20 years ago.
Yes,
And my boss who put me up for the position, I was young. I remember it like it was yesterday.
yes,
I went to him and I asked, why would you do that? Like, all these people are older than me. You think they're going to listen to me?
yes,
He said they will. If you work for them, they will work for you.
yes.
And
That's
I have
absolutely true.
carried that all of my life. And even to this day, many of them are on my Facebook, my personal Facebook, still call me boss lady. And
Yes,
I just recognize, like you said, it's just from the space I was able to cultivate for them. They felt like they grew, or they felt like I had a space for them to grow. Get this work done, but I want you to be a better me.
yes,
And how can I
absolutely.
teach you to be a better me? And
Yes,
so that brings me into my conversation about communication and culture into the workplace. You can walk into an organization and feel within 10 minutes what you're actually listening to.
mhm,
What does healthy communication actually sound like in a workplace? And I love that question for you because, like you said, you did something on the phones that now training trainers to do this. So when you walk into a space, how do you know if that space has healthy communication? Because what does that need to look like in a workplace?
it definitely needs to look like, it sounds so elementary, but taking turns. I mean, the amount of people that talk over people in meetings, I feel like a referee, because it is. we're adults, okay? And yes, these are leaders, but the way the communication, I have had to be the mediator, the referee. I've
Mm,
had to have people together, two people meet, and I've had to meet with them separately. Like, okay, now what's wrong? And okay, how can we meet? I felt like a babysitter, a referee, but it's because there was no healthy communication and no one
mm,
advocated to have it. It's
mm.
just we need the bottom line, and if it's not the bottom line, people are cursing, and I'm just like, we are professionals, okay? We will not do that. But I've had to be able to show them themselves and remind them where we are, and that
Mhm.
it doesn't. If you are overwhelmed, that's one thing. Let's have a conversation. But we're never going to be disrespectful because we are adults.
True. And so when you're talking to your clients and you're doing self-building conversations with them, what are some things that even in that communicational piece are you encouraging or having with them in this area to not just in the workplace, but just healthy communication overall?
So most of my clients have had confidence issues, and so they did not. They were
Mhm.
the ones in the meeting who did not speak up. They had all the ideas or the solutions, but they felt like because there were VPs in there or CEOs, their voice was not going to be heard. So
Mhm.
my communication with these clients are, you better talk up. Okay, like what's the worst they're going to say? You have the answer, and what's the reason why they're talking over you is because you're not making what you're saying clear. So I help them with the verbiage of what to say and how to say it so that they can be more confident. I just had a client just yesterday. She was so excited. She was like, I felt the most prepared in my meeting, and everyone was raving about how well she did because she was prepared, but also she trusted her own voice. So that is what I teach about communication, because it's rarely, especially for women, unfortunately, it is rarely about knowledge more so than it is about confidence.
And that's a good piece too, because as we're preparing for our cohort at the academy, leadership academy, that's one of the pieces I think that we're going to definitely focus on is being able to speak up for yourself. Because it's not the academy one. It's not going to just be for leaders who are currently leading, but for people who feel like I want to lead, I feel like I can lead. I just don't have that in, or I haven't, like you said, the confidence. I haven't settled in the confidence of being able to speak up. And so I want everyone to sit at the table together where you're leading or not leading, and so that you can build confidence and just being able to one advocate. Because if you are the solutionist, the solution's in the room, why has it not been heard? But you're sitting in seats where you have that ability to be able to do that. And so that's a turnaround that I want to see happen in our culture. Tell me about a time where you've seen culture shift, and what was the domino effect that caused it?
Um, Whenever a company focuses too much on the bottom line, I've
Mhm.
seen that in a couple of the companies I've worked for, and people start quitting. You start firing people because you need to get your budget, out of the red. But then you fire people who didn't even do anything. Like they were doing great, so it leaves the people that are left side eyeing, like, wait a minute, what's going on? So they start leaving. So you lost maybe a couple bad ones, but more good ones than bad. And now you're starting up from scratch because you lost the people that's been here for years. You lost the knowledge. And so I have seen that on multiple occasions. Whenever yes, the budget is a thing. I absolutely understand. We have to get the bottom line. But
Mhm.
you have to realize that the people are the ones who make the bottom line. And if you remove the people, you're going to be even further away from that than you would have if you would have kept them. So I have seen that so many times, and every time I start seeing people like the layoffs and then people start quitting, I say, "Uh-oh, I know what's about to happen." And
Right, that's
yeah,
true.
you just see the company kind of dwindle down. Sometimes I've seen them, recoup, but I definitely know that that is the beginning of their demise.
Yeah. If you could go into these organizations, especially working with women, because for those who don't know, her specialty is helping women get their confidence back and leading in their purpose of which they're called to.
Yeah.
If you can go into these places and have workshops with, say, for instance, the women that are in organizations or just the organization leaders in general, what are some things that you would take to them that you have seen over the years that is necessary within the workplace culture?
I would do a couple things. One, I would humanize both. I would humanize both the leader and the workers. The reason is because just because a leader is telling you to do things, you do know where they're coming from. It's usually coming from up the top, right?
Yeah.
So I try to both humanize the leader and help the workers to realize that just because they're carrying it well doesn't mean it's heavy. And so what I want them to understand is, yes, your leader might be giving you some, different directions that you never received before, but you got to understand, where do you think it could be coming from? Because everyone has a job and everyone has someone they have to report to. So
Of
that's the
course.
first thing. But also with the leaders, I help them to see everybody that works here, we need them. You know why? Because they got us to this point. Wherever we are, they got us here. And so let's try to retain as many people as we can, or who wants to stay, right? Because
Mhm.
some people just fall off. But that change management is what's needed to come in and show them that if you show people that you care, and the leader, and if the workers can see the leaders as also somebody that has to report to someone, that keeps the communication and the relationship a little bit more fluid.
And that's good. So, what would be one of the things that you would leave with them, or just with those who are watching and those who watch this replay, the difference between managing people and leading people?
So managing people, it's like a babysitter. I feel like, um I don't want to. I feel like almost. This is going to sound bad, but I feel like anybody can manage because you're just watching. Like, did you do that? Okay, great. But the leading is creating more leaders, and so that is what I believe leaders, or people who are hiring leaders, they need to ask the person they're hiring, do you rather manage or lead? Because that will help them understand. Because if you just want to manage, that means that you have a huge, you have a big ego, and you just want to tell people what to do. That is
Mhm.
not an effective leader. An effective
Mhm.
leader wants people to be better than them. So they
Mhm.
want to show them the way. Just like, you can't teach people how to fish, but you can, lead them to the water so that they can learn, right? So
Yeah.
I feel like being a leader leads them to the water and teaches them how to fish, versus a manager just watches them and makes sure that they don't drown.
That very much so fast. I thank you so much for that. That is definitely and all the answers you've shared with us tonight. So now we're going to go into what I call the move minute, where I'm going to give you a topic and 30 seconds in your mind or a one word explanation. Um, is what I'm looking for in this round, okay? And it's just really to get people to understand the simple things you can do to shift when you think about shifting your mindset for in a leadership mode. What's one word that defines great leadership?
Confidence.
Confidence. Hey, what's one leadership myth that you want people to retire, that they need to let it go?
That you have to work at a place for 20 years to become a leader.
That's good. The best advice you've ever received and who gave it to you?
Be Maria, because nobody else in the world can be. And
Oh,
my mama, my husband, yes, those are the ones that helped me. My best friend, oh my gosh, they helped me to realize that, because I haven't always been like this. So, yes, those three.
yeah, I love it. What's one habit every leader should have and build or work on this year?
Knowing who works for you, and
Ooh,
not just what they do for you, but who they are.
nice. What's inspiring you right now? Is it a book, a person, an idea, anything?
Let Them by Mel Robbins.
Oh, I like
Yes,
that book.
yes,
Let them.
yes.
Finish this sentence. Finish this sentence. Purpose over pressure means
Alignment.
purpose over pressure means alignment. Y'all heard it first. from no other than Miss Maria. Maria, thank you so much. Here's what I'm walking with today. That leadership is not always about the answers. It's really about the confidence you have and choosing the alignment that we get. That's what I gather from you today and every single day in this season. So I thank you for sharing that with me for sure. Purpose is not something that we stumble into. It's something that we live out on purpose.
Yeah.
And through our decisions, whether they are relationships or the cultures that we build, the confidence we have, especially as women coming into this seat of leadership, this is where we are looking for someone to help steward us into the right direction. I want people to know where they can connect with you, especially for the women.
Yeah.
I want her to talk about, 'cause I know we didn't go into the depths of that, but I would love for her to talk about her organization and how she takes her clients and how you can get connected with her. If you can definitely share that with me, please.
Absolutely. So I am self-love coach Maria Friday. I consider myself self-love coach because a lot of the times it's about confidence. And when you see yourself as a leader, see yourself as someone who gets things done, you're able to look in the mirror and actually believe that you can do it. And so I'm self-love coach Maria. I'm self-love coach Friday, I'm sorry, on all platforms, TikTok, Instagram, and TikTok and Instagram. And then I have a website. It is www.mariafriday.com. And that is where you can request a consultation with me and we can see if I'll be your coach.
Awesome. I love it. Before we log off, guys, and if you watch this replay, anything that you've learned today or loved, share it with us. We definitely want to see your comments, your feedback. If today's conversation challenged you or encouraged you, do 3 things for me. Make sure you like this broadcast, share this with your network, and subscribe to us on YouTube because we're there and we'll go back to posting our reels on there as much as we possibly can. And if you're an organization who's wrestling with culture or confidence, definitely reach out to Ms. Maria. If you're wrestling with your culture and just alignment and leadership, definitely reach out to us here at the Move Collective. We'd be more than happy to assist you. And visit us at the MoveColl.com to learn more about our consulting, coaching, and upcoming events. But remember one thing, and that's if I can leave you anything, alignment does create better leaders.
Yes.
Alignment does create better leaders, and better leaders build better organizations. Better people, better organizations to transform communities. Have to think about it in that manner. This is the move, and we will see you next time. As always, thank you.
Thank you.